My name is Eric Thor, and for most of my life I was very good at thriving in chaos. I grew up in instability and I ran towards pressure, responsibility, and high stakes environments. The Army, firefighting, trauma nursing, business leadership, teaching, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. From the outside it looked like success, but from the inside it was survival disguised as achievement. I was what I like to call functionally dysfunctional. I was highly capable, highly disciplined, and outwardly winning. But internally I was stuck in fight or flight mode. Chaos had me trained to stay calm, but it also trained me to never turn myself off. So like a lot of people, I believed that doing more, pushing harder, and achieving more would bring me peace. Well, it didn't. It just fed my ego while starving my soul. The Warrior in the Garden podcast is about what happens when we stop chasing chaos and we learn that vulnerability is strength and how to respond instead of react. I'm glad to have you on board and welcome to another episode of the Warrior in the Garden podcast. All right, guys, welcome back to Warrior in the Garden podcast. This is episode number 2. I'm super psyched for this one. I've been wanting to sit down and talk to this guy for a long time. We were just talking off camera about it, that he said, okay, I know I'm going to owe him this one. He's going to ask me for the podcast. And God damn it, Joe, I asked you for the podcast. So today I got Joe Pusateri on here. Going to share some of his story. I think I know maybe half of it, and it's an incredible story. And I'm sure the rest of it will be just the same. So welcome, Joe, man. I'm glad to,
Thanks for
glad
having
to
me,
have
man.
you, dude. So
Absolutely.
we just came out at first cold plunge for you, right?
Yeah.
First one, 40 degrees. You hit it?
Interesting.
Yeah, for sure, right? Definitely. And now that you've done it, now you know kind of how it's going to work. You can probably going to go home and buy a cold plunge and add it every day now.
And a sauna.
Yeah, and so then we went from the cold plunge into the 150 today. 250.
Yeah.
250 degree sauna. Got a super good sweat off in there. You feel
Oh, yeah.
amazing coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So start us off. Give us a little picture of who Joe is.
Yeah, well, I'm 34 years old, and my life has gone all different directions, and I'm sure you could probably say the same. I was born and raised in Broward County, Florida, and Mom, I joke around and say she was kind of like a gypsy. Never in one place for more than a year. Always
Really?
jumping around. I've lived in Florida, all parts of Florida, Georgia, Indiana, Chicago, Alaska. We jumped around our whole life, so stability wasn't there much. I've never known my real dad, never met him, and grew up with an alcoholic stepfather. And very verbally abusive, physically abusive to my mother. And I have one sister that was in and out of jail and prison for most of my life. So right now she's
Older, younger?
older, 7 years older. So she's doing really good nowadays. So that really makes me happy. So I ended up joining the military at 21 years old out of spite.
Really?
Because
What were you doing before that?
I ended up doing dishwasher at restaurants, and I ended up was like, man, I'm a people person, so I can't even be in the back, right, with all the grumpy people. So I ended up going to more of a server role, and that was really helpful for me and growing, and went to different restaurants, made a lot of money doing that. But I was just like, dude, like, this isn't it. Ended up talking to a recruiter, and it's funny, I dropped out of school at 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
I never made it to high school. Got my GED, and so I go to the recruiter's office, and he's like, hey man, you need college credits to join. And I was like, even with a GED? And he's like, yeah. So I ended up having to go to college for a while and I have to do all the prerequisites to even have classes count for me. And got through all that, and I joined the military because my father would use verbal and vulgar language towards me, saying you're a bad kid, basically. You're never going to amount to nothing. And so I joined that. I'll show you what I could do.
Yeah.
And it really has started this fire in me to start proving people wrong my whole life. So everything that I've done was to show somebody that I'm better than them.
Yeah.
And nowadays I look back, it's like completely terrible way to be, but
But it becomes, sometimes it's about survival.
yeah,
Sometimes
absolutely.
it's about survival,
Yeah,
for
so 16 years old, and my mom left me, and I was just living in a car, and so I had to figure it out,
For sure.
So did 10 years in the military, multiple combat tours, and I left there lost and broken, man.
So you're 82nd Airborne guy?
82nd Airborne Division, Jump Master. You go a lot of the
Vietnam.
schools. Yeah. Good times, a lot of good times and bad times there, though. How it can go both ways.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
a lot of it nowadays, you're just taking lessons learned and applying the good parts of it. But closed that chapter of my life. A divorce later. I was sick, man, and a lot of the problems I started to have, I now know that they were because of me. I was tearing people down and I was ruining relationships along the way, and that's tough to deal with now because I have a lot of making up to do. I feel like.
For sure, right?
That's
the challenge always.
Yeah. And so get out of the military and I find my new wife, and I really owe a lot to her because she's a really big part of my support system and making sure and keeping me in line. And it's tough when somebody's doing that for you, but you're not reciprocating that. You know what I mean? And so how that makes them feel. So I was at a really low point in my life about 2 years ago. And I ended up watching Joe Rogan's podcast and Jocko's podcast, and Marcus Capone on the Joe Rogan show. I started a vets organization that did medical research for Ibogaine. And Ibogaine is a psychedelic substance that helps you go through past traumas in your life and helps you heal from it. And so I was really at a low point in my life, contemplating suicide. And it was so hard because I'm leaving behind 5 children.
Yeah.
And a wife. And
Man.
not growing up with a father or a lack thereof, I needed something to hold this together. And so I signed up for their organization to get sponsored, but they only do it for special operations and Navy SEALs. And so they had a list on there that said, if we can't help you out, here's some other things that could help out. And I found ayahuasca. And me and my wife joke is because I was sitting there and I Googled ayahuasca near me. And a place in Orlando, Florida showed up. And the next weekend we were there. And
Together.
as it is, my wife went there to support me.
Brother.
Not anything,
My wife asks me on the regular, like, hey, can we go together? And I'm deathly afraid to go together.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, man, I wonder if I would be so worried about what was going on with her
Yeah.
that it would affect, and vice versa, because my wife is a very selfless kind of, and would she be shortchanged? So I don't know. Man, hats off to you for that. That's a.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because if I went by myself, I don't know what our marriage would be like.
Yeah. Yeah, because you come back, man, completely. I'll call, November 17th, 2017 is like, that's my new birthday.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even need to celebrate my real birthday.
Exactly.
I feel like whatever life I had prior to that got just evaporated and erased, and now I have this whole new life and perspective. So
100% correct. And you really come out of there learning so many new things about yourself, and what you need to do. You come out there with some guidance. And the mission to be the best and to, be very successful turned into helping other people be that.
but while still being the best and being super successful.
Exactly,
right?
right.
So the mission doesn't change, just the purpose of the mission changes.
That's correct.
Correct. Which is crazy once you realize that and you see, oh, now I get it. And there's always that danger, though, that the old, purpose of the mission creeps back in.
Of course.
You got to be like super careful. I empathize with you right there because I fight this on the daily. I think that that deal. So you and your wife went together, man. That is and so did your wife go because you asked her to go with you, or did she need to go as well?
Simply out of support, like she always has done, just to be there with me and get me through this. And
that's some angel level shit. Right
and
there.
what ended up turning out as a support ended up healing her own problems that she didn't even really know that she had, right? Because people go through their lives, from childhood trauma and whatever these incidents happen in their life, and it shapes them to who they are as an adult.
Yeah.
And so you're just realizing that, you are thinking that this is just who I am, right?
But I don't have problems because that person they were kidnapped when they were 4 and locked in a basement, and that person has problems. I can't possibly sit here and claim that I have problems because there's somebody who's homeless and there's somebody who was beaten every day, and you get into that, but no, the reality is problems are problems, man. There's no scorekeeping on problems.
Correct. And everybody's mental capacity is different, right? Mm-hmm. So the way that you deal with a certain issue is going to be different than I do, even if we went through the same problem. Mm-hmm. So, so ultimately, what me and my wife come out of this, and we are just changed people. We hugged each other for 20 minutes without saying a word. You just knew you went through it.
That's awesome.
And my marriage and life has forever changed, have never been better. And so what ended up leading us down this road is wanting to help as many people as possible. But I had to be careful because you go out there and you start telling everybody about ayahuasca and what it does, and they just psychedelic, and they get
like
weird.
A crazy person, right?
Yeah, and it's like, you know what? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let it live through me and see how it's changed my life. Because the people that know me before and the people that know me now, they're gonna say, "What's going on?
Yeah.
Who are you now?" And just how you carry yourself moving forward. If you didn't know me, you're gonna be like, "Man, you're such a nice person."
Yeah, this guy's doing things the right way.
Exactly. And that's what it's really all about for me now, is just treating people with respect and compassion and grace, and relationships are so important to me. People.
And yourself, right? And treat yourself with
course.
compassion, with grace, with forgiveness, with respect, because I think we don't do that very often.
Yeah.
That's definitely a lesson learned from there.
Yeah, I think it's tough to do it. It has to be. You have to be able to do all those things for yourself before you can do it for somebody else, because it's contradictory. You can't tell somebody else to do something without being able to forgive yourself.
No.
You see what I mean? So, yeah, all those things have to happen for yourself first, and that's what it really,
So from that, you started a nonprofit organization.
That's correct.
This is awesome. I want to hear all about this. I want to hear about this.
So I've done ayahuasca 9 times now, and every single time I keep getting this voice or something that's pushing me to help other people in this process. And I'm sure, as you can relate, you know, a lot of military people or first responders and things like that could really use this. Or not even just them, regular people in life could use this. Right?
Sure.
We've all had our own issues in life.
Yeah, it's just easier to find them
Exactly.
in the veteran community, in the first responder community, in the police community, because like we were talking off camera before, these kind of people are attracted to those professions.
Yeah.
It's because, you know, you need that to be able to go out there and be selfless and to help other people and to you know, risk your life and to do these things for other people because maybe people didn't do it for you at some point.
Yeah.
But if you're doing that and you don't know why you're doing it,
Yeah.
it can become very dangerous, and you can become, you know, you become these first responders and police officers are out there, and you know, I call it savior syndrome. You know, like you're out there like you're helping people because maybe your intention at the beginning was to help, and even in the military, you know, your intention is to help and to do, but soon you become addicted to the affirmations that come from helping people, and you know, and that can get away. And so I think military first responder, this is a great place to find those people, and the others will come, you know.
Absolutely. And I think it's a good thing because those people are able to relate to me from the military experience and stuff like that, right? Maybe somebody just off the street isn't that trusting, maybe or maybe not. But they know that, like, man, you've been through some stuff and it's changed your life. Like, let me get on board.
What's the name?
So, Hero's Journey Healing Foundation was born last year, and we are just looking basically how my healing journey has went. I want to be able to organize that together and structure it to where I can have people go through the same process. And so, you know, when you have a guide that has done this before and has changed their life in it, I could show you all the ways of to do it. And so basically what it is a 3-month program. People are very busy, and they're not going to be
You can't disconnect for 3 months, right?
Exactly. So you're not going to be missing work. You're not going to be missing your time with your children or anything like that. We structure it so it's on the weekends and for outdoor adventures and ayahuasca retreats. But basically a 3-month program. You'll meet with our you'll do a biopsychosocial with our national licensed mental health counselor. That's awesome. Is very involved in the veteran and first responder community, and she's amazing. And then you'll go through a plant medicine assessment. As you know, it's not for everybody. If you have some pre-diagnosis,
certain medications, antidepressants, things like that.
We need to be able to filter all that stuff out and make sure that if you're on certain medications, you get off. And and then we'll start learning more about the individuals themselves and getting to know them and see, you know, what are some of the hobbies or things that you like to do. And, you know, these programs are going to be paid by donations. So it's free of charge for the participants, and we're going to take them out onto outdoor retreats, for camping, hunting, fishing charters, tailored to what they like to do.
That's cool, because a lot of that healing is somatic in nature, meaning, you know, it has to be a physical. It cannot be all. It's not all mental.
Exactly,
it
right?
has to be
so
physical.
you get the counseling, you get the outdoor recreational activities as a group and the camaraderie, and then the second month we go into an ayahuasca retreat, and you know that's really where this is going to transform your life. And that's a whole process that we can go into a little bit more. If you're interested, you know, get in contact with us. We'd love to have you a part of it. But month 3, we're going to basically fine tune everything that we learned from the previous months. And we are going to go on another outdoor adventure. But basically, we like to take this, however many participants that we have, and you're going to go through this whole process together.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people that do in the military or first responders or police, they are part of this group, and then when they leave, they don't have it anymore.
Which is the worst, yeah.
Right? And so,
It's a spiritual component we talked about.
Of course.
Right? People think when you talk about the spiritual piece, they think you're talking about religion.
Yeah.
But it's really not. The spiritual piece is purely understanding that you are a part of something bigger than yourself. And I think that's the biggest loss when you leave police work, fire work, close-knit work in the hospitals or military work, is that sense of camaraderie, that sense of you're a part of something bigger than yourself. And really that's spirituality. That's what it is. If you look at any religion that's out there, it's just being a part of something bigger than you. And that piece is so missed, and the integration piece is so important. I think you got a home run with that combo in the end.
The human connection is the most important part of this whole thing. The whole thing. And getting people to get to a vulnerable state in their lives is very difficult. But when you go through trials and tribulations together, you're more trusting, and you have relationships, and you can open up. And that's how we're going to prepare you to be able to get into a vulnerable state, to go through the ayahuasca, to learn more about yourself. And then we're going to clean it all up after that last month. So
integration is big. I'm a big believer in, you lose a lot of benefits if you just come back from something like that and try to just raw dog it.
Yeah.
Because, man, your whole life is altered, man. You are not the same human that went into that coming out.
No.
And, I've never seen it not be for the better. I've never seen it not be for the better.
Yeah.
Somebody could tell me a story where it was worse. I'd be willing to listen, but I've never heard one in my years. And for me, I've been 16 ceremonies now, like 16 different times. And so, yeah, I've never seen anything bad. I'll tell you a story that I could tell you off camera, but when I went to one retreat, there was a police officer, former New York City police officer that lived in Vero Beach, and ran into this guy. He looked like a cop. This guy infiltrated the mafia for 4 years, was instrumental in taking down John Gotti, worked within the organization undercover, like a real mess. I mean, but this guy looked like a cop. He had dark sunglasses on, the cop mustache, everything. And so, he saw me there, and we kind of struck up a conversation. And out of nowhere, he said to me at the end, he said, yeah, my son-in-law told me about this place, and so I figured I'd come and give it a shot. And if it doesn't work out, I have a 357 under the seat of my car, and I'm going to drive to the warehouses on the corner of Orange Blossom Trail and Osceola, out behind there, and I'm going to blow my head off.
Oh, wow.
I saw him the next morning after the first ceremony. This guy was another human. Man, what a great day. Oh my God, great. And then I talked to him like a couple months after that, and he's like, he's got his thick New York accent. He's like, brother, don't tell nobody, but I'm growing orchids now. I love these things. I go every morning, I talk to them. I love these orchids. They're the best. And he should send me pictures of the flowers and stuff. And, so, I mean, that's the level of life-changing capability you're seeing from this. So I think you're bringing you're the more access to this there is, the better.
Absolutely.
I think. And it's just about access. If you don't want to take it, it's not a problem.
Yep.
But if you're looking for it, it should be obtainable for you. It shouldn't be out of price range. It shouldn't be, I don't have the time commitment. It should be attainable for you. And I like how you're structuring it to be attainable, which, for me, the first time I went, I had to go for 8 days to Peru. I went for 8 days to Peru and checked out of Like I checked out of civilization for 8 days, and
Yeah.
a lot of people can't do that. You know,
know.
especially if you're struggling. You know, you're probably, you know,
A lot of people still have lives and that like they can't turn off and they have to work or responsibilities and I have the same issues. So we looked for a way that we could fit this into your daily life and structure it to help you.
And you work with your wife on this one? Your wife is involved with you too?
Every
awesome.
piece of it, man. I have the best teammate. I always tell her, she's like, I'm your wife. And I'm like, I have the best teammate.
Yeah, man, I'm super proud of you.
Thank you, man.
I think, man, definitely, you're going to change lives. I mean, you change one life. I think you've made your money on this planet.
100%.
You know, anything after that one life you change is all just, you know, it's refilling the tank that we all stole from when we were younger, right? We took way more than we gave way back then.
Yeah.
Now it's time to give back. So that's cool.
That's true. Yeah, man.
Man, awesome. So, let's kind of switch from the foundation. Let's go back. Let's talk about Joe. I know how comfortable you are talking about Joe. I know how much you love this. So let's swing back, and I'll ask you the same set of questions we ask every guest here on the Warrior in the Garden podcast. So, when people look at your life from the outside, what do they look at and say, okay, this is what this guy has figured out? What do you think they look at?
I have to say nothing. I don't think people look at me and say I have something figured out. I think they look at me and think that somebody's willing to learn and do the best he can. I'm not so good at any one thing. I try to get involved in everything I can to be good at it. If I had to choose something, it would probably be discipline. I'm very disciplined. I'm very structured, and I have to make things happen. For me, my credibility means everything to me. I have to be able to follow through on all of my promises. I have to be able to follow through on my kids' lives, right? I have obligations, and I won't ever miss a timeline. I'm always early for everything. And like consideration for others is so huge.
That's that integrity, right?
Yeah.
This is, you learn this in the military, like the integrity is, I remember I heard this saying there and it stuck with me for life, that integrity is like virginity. Once you lose it, you'll never get it back.
Yeah.
And the military gives you that ability to maintain the impetus to maintain your integrity like that. And it's another reason why I think people seeking structure or seeking, a sense of belonging are drawn there because, all I have to do is keep my word and show up on time and I can do that.
Yeah.
And we thrive there because of that,
Yeah, along there, you learn a lot of good and bad things in the military, right? And so you know what not to do, and hey, that's pretty good. Let me take that and put it in the toolbox. And I think that's what's most important to me, is staying disciplined and leadership.
So would you say then, well, I'll ask the question a different way then. What kind of environments or what moments in your life kind of taught you to stay calm when everything was falling apart around you? What kind of things or moments taught you this?
Iraq and Afghanistan, definitely. Just that combat and war in itself will really teach you how to slow down. And, and I always, people don't rise to the occasion. They fall to the level of their training.
Yeah.
And if you're not constantly trying to get better and you're just letting things go, you're not going to
Was a lot of that, so this was a positive for you in the military. You said already, you touched on the discipline and
Yeah.
was that kind of need to prove, like, okay, you say I can't be on time, F you, watch this, I'm going to be on time. I'm going to be 5 minutes early. That learned early on in childhood. So the kind of the I hate to use the word traumas because I think it's overused, but it is the industry term. Those traumas become your superpower.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you definitely use it for fuel to get better. And I think it goes either way though.
Mm-hmm.
Some
Yeah.
people it's used to their detriment. And it goes on the whole opposite side and they can't recover from it. So it's for me it's more of a mental thing.
They buck against it, maybe.
Yeah. And I use it for fuel.
Yeah, because I think back, and I don't know if it is, combat is different because obviously there's life-threatening situations and things like that. But if you just boil it down to the chaos, that level of chaos, very different than the level of chaos you had in your childhood, minus the life-threatening situations.
Yeah, I was kind of say actually kind of similar, right?
Yeah.
Kind of similar is where,
Unpredictable.
yeah, you all these things are just getting thrown at you, and you got to find solutions for them. And if you don't, you're gonna sink. You know, and I think that's a lot of high performers. Their childhood was terrible.
Yeah, you don't grow up in Disney World and
Yeah.
go on to solve world-changing problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes broken people to fix broken systems, they say. It's just
That's a good
crazy,
one.
right? So, at what point did you realize what made you strong? The things that were your strengths were also kind of a detriment, were also costing you. Like, when did you realize that?
Yeah, so during my first ayahuasca ceremony, it's all ego, man. It's all ego.
Yeah.
And what it was costing me my relationships with people. It was costing me leadership with people. It was costing me trust with people. And when I was able to have my ego crushed, like you said, it's your birthday again and you're new. I have a clean slate now. I identified that was costing me my life. Ego was costing me my life, and now I have a lot of work to do to recover. And I'm on that mission, man.
Yeah, for people that are listening that don't understand ego, it's such a misunderstood term, and that's why when we were talking before off camera, I don't even like to use the term ego. I use the term default mode network. It's 3 portions of the brain. It's an anatomical thing. It's a physiological thing. It's not something that's make-believe that, is like a figment.
Yeah.
No, it's your prefrontal cortex. It's your posterior cingulate cortex and part of the posterior occipital. Those parts of the brain start communicating in a way that are based 100% in survival, 100% in thriving and being successful. And people think like, oh, that's a bad thing to have, but no, it's 100% necessity.
Yeah.
But like we talked about, man, it really has to be the advisor and not the driver,
Definitely, it's a fine-tuned balance. And if you let it go out of hand, it could cost you your life like it did me.
And you didn't realize that until the ayahuasca
Until the
ceremonies.
ayahuasca, man.
Even
And-
after a divorce and everything else, you still kind of...
Yeah, I thought I knew it all, man. And I was not part of the issue. It was all her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yeah, you live and you learn, right?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, that's, This is why they say experience is the greatest teacher, but experience comes at a cost. You know, it comes at a cost for sure. But
Oh yeah.
that's interesting that it took till the ayahuasca ceremony and man, how was that coming to grips face to face with your ego in the ayahuasca ceremony?
Yeah, that's tough because you're trying to protect yourself, right? Your ego's there to protect you and saying, yeah, that like this is nothing. And so at the 2-hour mark, they offer you more, right? So you can get more. And my ego was telling me, no, don't do it. And I was really going through a tough time, and it was protecting me. And like, this will pass. And I'm like, no. Like, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it. I was the first in line. One day my wife laughs at me, but it's the first in line for the second cup, and I got a bigger cup this time. And after that, my whole world started crushing down. And I started reliving a lot of moments that my childhood problems and things that I dealt with, but most importantly, what I was doing to my children. Right. I was doing the same things to my children that that were done to me.
Yeah, we don't.
And it's
know.
like, at what point does this stop?
Yeah.
We're just going to keep going, and then they're going to end up like that, and then they're going to do it to their kids.
Yeah. Somebody has to be the generational stop.
And at that moment, I decided it was me. It was me, and I literally had I envisioned my son standing over me and just shaking his head like in disgust. Like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, get it right.
Yeah, get it right.
That's
and awesome. It all changed, man. I stopped drinking that day. I haven't drank since. Stopped using drugs. Stopped smoking cigarettes. It was life-changing for me.
Yeah. That's it's funny when you talk about it. It's almost like you're talking about something make-believe, because people are like, "There's no way."
I know.
There's no way. There's no way. So I know you're probably going to answer to this, the ayahuasca, but I think ayahuasca is very good at bringing up the things that need to be brought up for you to deal with. So I want you to answer it not with ayahuasca, but with the thing that maybe ayahuasca showed.
Okay.
You know, that so the moment or the person or the thing that forced you to look at yourself differently, like, you know, was it the thing that made you say, hey, because something told you, Joe, you got to go do ayahuasca?
Yeah.
Or, you know, was it something during the ceremony that made you look at yourself differently to say, okay, it's time to unfuck this?
Yeah, I think it was afterwards when I seen my wife. And, you know, as you're going through everything within the ceremony, that's one thing. But when I came out of that and I seen my wife, that like, I have a responsibility and an obligation now that I didn't have before. And I always put myself first, and I never put my family or my wife first. And I would say not anymore. That all ends right now. And so
when you say you weren't, I'm going to stop you there for a second. When you say you weren't putting your wife and family first, were you, even though you were putting yourself first, were you putting yourself first under the guise of, well, I'm doing this for them so that they can have this?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's they're benefiting from it, and I need to be a provider, but they really want your time and your effort to be circumvented around them, not working all the time, not being gone all the time, right? When you think you're doing all the right things to provide, it's actually working against you. For me, in my
man,
situation.
How many Little League games I was at with my iPad, checking on work and go.
Yeah.
Man, I might as well have not even gone.
Exactly.
A 5-year-old is not dumb. They look at you and go, he ain't even paying attention.
100%.
But you think you're paying it, like I'm multitasking, I'm doing them both, I'm there, and I look at myself and go, you are a fraud, brother.
Yeah, man.
You weren't there. You were not there, man. You say you were there, but you weren't.
Yeah, there was a moment too where I was at a baseball game with my son, and some people were walking by on the sidewalk, and he walked in front of them, and I was like, hey man, like just be a little bit more considerate when they walk. And he's like, I can't do anything right. And at that moment it was like, man, I gotta change how I approach things. If every correction that I make, he's taking it as like he's not doing something right, or how about I'm not giving enough praise when he does do something right, or even when he does it wrong, hey, it's all right. So little things like that I pick up on now that really have just shape-shifted fatherhood for me.
Man. What kind of practices or disciplines that you have now allow you to kind of reconnect and stay grounded, and you do anything that helps you with that?
Yeah, I practice detachment a lot. And what detachment does for me is, previously, I was very emotionally reactive to a lot of things. Whatever it was, I would have to be involved 100%. I would have to find out a solution right away, just like knee-jerk reactions. And now I let a situation develop, I take a step back, look for a good solution, because anything that involves an emotional reaction is not a good solving technique. You
respond now instead of reacting.
100%. And you know, other things, just some hobbies is I study leadership a lot, and it's really I live leadership.
Yeah.
I live it, and you know, brother, jiu-jitsu is a big part of that.
Yeah, for sure.
And,
for sure.
And you know, I challenge anybody that's watching this, get involved in jiu-jitsu. It'll start helping your life in ways that you never imagined.
Yeah. So how do you know when you're straying? How do you know when you're straying from the way?
Yeah, so we had talked about it previously, and integrity and purpose for me. When things are out of line and I'm not remaining honest and truthful about stuff, I start knowing the ego's taking over, and then I start going down a different path, and I have to reel myself back in, right? Even just in passing, when you're having conversations with people you don't know, people tend to over-exaggerate.
Right.
Things like that, right? Oh, I did this, and then it's like a little bit more than what you really did.
Right.
And I find myself doing that sometimes, and I'm like, dude, what are you talking about?
Right? Yeah.
I will be so intentional that I'll go back and like correct myself. Like, oh man, like it wasn't 5 years, it was only 2, right? You know?
Yeah.
And so I'm to the point now where if I'm out of alignment, it's because I'm not remaining true to who I am.
Yeah.
And I really are intentional about bringing myself back to that always.
Man, intentionality, integrity, discipline, grace. These are the pieces, right?
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
So I give every guest the opportunity now to ask me one question. Can be whatever you want. You know, I know most of the answers because they're about me, so I'm not going to be stumped. Whatever you want.
I would ask you, what is your biggest accomplishment in life?
Staying married for 25 years, without a doubt, right?
Okay,
like, that's
yeah.
a no-brainer. And raising 3 like kids that we were just talking about it at dinner today. I said, man, if I died tomorrow, my children's lives, other than, you know, emotionally being distraught and that kind of thing, my children's lives would not be affected at all if I wasn't involved now.
Wow.
They've been set up to kind of, you know, they're thriving on their own. Hopefully, you know, a lot of that was due to things that I did and was able to help them with, either with bad examples or good examples, but they would thrive. They don't need anything from me right now. Like, I'm the passenger and they're driving now. But outside of that, and to me, that's an expectation, man. Stay married, raise good kids.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
Definitely, hands down, achieving my black belt in jiu-jitsu. That is, I mean, it's the thing I've done the longest in my life.
Yeah.
You know, without stopping.
Consistency.
I've lied to myself on so many things, like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I've always broken the promise to myself. This one, I never broke the promise.
Yeah.
And it was difficult, man. It was really hard, and I struggled with it halfway. Like, there was a point when I was a brown belt where I thought I talk about it in the book. I thought the professor was all screwed up. He didn't know what he was talking about. He was screwing me over. I should have been promoted before this. Why am I not promoted now? What is he waiting? And I realized, like, oh, you're not ready. You're learning. Like, it was just things like that along the journey. Jiu-jitsu helped definitely reorient me along the way and go. And so I'm very proud of myself that I stayed with that and I didn't let it slide, because it, man, it's definitely something that's super proud of, you know, and none of it is for the physical attributes of it, the physical things. All of it was for the mental and the emotional growth. I think I grew incredibly through the jiu-jitsu journey. Like, jiu-jitsu early on, I realized that it let me be the person on the mats that I couldn't be other places. Whether because it was my own pride or my own ego or whatever, I couldn't do it outside of jiu-jitsu, but in jiu-jitsu on the mat, I could be super vulnerable, I could be super kind, I could be ultra compassionate, I could explore that range because there was no expectation there for me other than to just be there. And so definitely getting my black belt, but from the emotional growth standpoint. So.
Do you think that you can accomplish those things outside of jiu-jitsu now?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, because of my master, how he taught me, it never was the emphasis put on the skills of jiu-jitsu, of the actual techniques. Of course, you had to be good with those, but it was all, he just drove it in that you're going to be a real black belt, not have a black belt. And I think a lot of that was the emotional growth and the refinement of leadership and the understanding of yourself and your capabilities and learning to help other people, not for your own sake, but learning to help them for their sake. And so, first of all, I think being a black belt is the coolest thing in the world. Every day when I grab the belt and I see the belt, I look at it and I go, this is freaking, man, this is cool.
Yeah.
I love to put it around my neck and walk out of my house to go to my car. I just it just is the coolest thing in the world. And I know what it took to accomplish that. And I know so I get to be proud of myself every time I put it on.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of times in my life when I would never be proud of myself because, it's an expectation. That's an expectation. What are you celebrating that for? That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to win at that. You're supposed to go here.
Yeah.
And I never gave myself that grace to say, no way, man. Be proud of yourself. That's a friggin' awesome accomplishment. And you're friggin' cool, man. You're a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This is less than 1% of the population can say this, and less than 1% of the people that do Jiu-Jitsu can say this. Give yourself the grace and be so. I'm super mindful of that every time I tie the belt on. And it's definitely something I'm super proud of.
I also have to just say thank you because you've been a huge part of my success at Jiu-Jitsu. And I take little notes, right? I'm watching, and I pay attention differently than I think some other people do, and I just see the leadership growth in yourself, and you always want to help other people that's there, and from the first time that a new person walks in the door, it's like you're the one wanting to get with them to teach them and help them, and I try to practice the same thing now.
Yeah, it's the culture that I grew up in. Yeah. I grew up in that jiu-jitsu culture of learning that, so it was that 10-year stretch of jiu-jitsu is like another childhood for me, I learned these lessons back in the ayahuasca piece and then I was able to completely get brought up again in such a great culture at the school. I mean, the culture there is great. My master, Professor Taizu, has been, you know, he put the things in front of you when you needed it, even though you didn't realize you needed it. And for that, I'm forever grateful. So it's been cool. And now it's my goal to pass that on and pass it on. So.
Did you do jiu-jitsu before ayahuasca or after?
After.
After. Me too.
After, yeah.
I actually, the symbol to the gym was this infinity triangle, like my tattoo.
Really?
And I was like, when I seen it and I drove by it, I was like, oh, gotta go.
Man, it's awesome. So the light is waning here. The light's waning.
Yeah.
We've been here all day here in the garden. We've been for a while. The Copeland and
peaceful
sauna.
here.
Yeah, it is. I spend all my time out here. Well, you can wear this monk robe. It's great. Where can people find out about the nonprofit?
We mainly operate on Instagram and Facebook, and you can also find us on our website, heroesjourneyheals.org, or on Instagram, Heroes Journey Foundation. Underscores in between each word.
And I'll put it in the description of the
Awesome, man.
of the YouTube for sure. Let's get it out there. Man, and if anybody is looking for help or is ready for change, or even if you just have questions about it, reach out to this guy.
Absolutely.
He's gonna help you. I'm super excited that I finally pinned you down, brother.
Thanks
This
so
has
much.
been
man.
awesome. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
And guys, stay tuned. Next episode. Hopefully you enjoy this one. Shameless plug for the book, Becoming the Warrior in the Garden, a Journey for Peace. Check it out. It's on Amazon, paperback, hardcover, ebook. I have a cool audiobook format coming out soon. I'm going to read each chapter, and then at the end, I'm going to discuss each chapter with somebody, kind of go into some of the details that maybe aren't discussed in the book. So
That's a
be
nice
a cool
twist on
format.
it.
Yeah. So stay tuned, guys. Appreciate you. See you soon.